It is that time of month. The time of month where we get to look at the data, explore the data, and see how home sales in Aurora have been. Did we increase in inventory? Did we decrease in inventory? Is there more buyer demand, less buyer demand? Do we have more homes in the market, less homes in the market? Let's find out what the real estate data is here in Aurora as we take a look here at now April numbers. Okay, so if you're keeping track here with this channel, you'll see that I, Luis Torres, real estate broker here in the Chicagoland area, seek to update you about what's happening in the real estate market, not just in Aurora, even though we're talking about that today. We talk about the area in Chicago, northern suburbs, western suburbs, and southern suburbs, and we just talk about what's been happening there in the market. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look and see what the numbers are. If you are a real estate agent that needs some information about how to find this data, especially if you're in the Chicagoland area, feel free to reach out to me here at 630-777-4597. That is my number. And yeah, hopefully you get some good knowledge out of this. But if you are yourself a buyer or a seller in the market that wants to know specifically about their own area, their own neighborhood, again, reach out to me and I can show you not only the data, but I can interpret that data for you and color the picture of all these lines and graphs and help you to understand really what is happening in the real estate market and give you an idea of what the selling process looks like. Okay, so without further ado, what we're going to do here is look into the Aurora area. Now, if you see here in my screen, this is my cursor, okay? This is the app. I'm using the Z Fold 5, and I am using this to, basically show you what it's like here in the area, okay? So we're looking at Aurora, and let's start off by looking at these numbers. Now, again, we're taking into consideration single family, not only, let me look at it this way, residential real estate, not commercial, not land. We're looking at residential only. That includes single family detached. That includes townhomes, condominiums, 2 to 4 unit homes, new construction, resale, all that. We're bundling them all together to try to figure out, hey, what's happening here? What are the trends? Are they going up? Are they going down? We're going to take a look at that right here. So now that I have Aurora picked out, I'm going to go ahead and share what is the median price of sales. Again, what is the median price? Not the average price, the median price, which again is a more conservative number. It takes the average and it puts them in alphabetical order, and it takes the middle portion of the numbers, right? And it averages those two out. And those two conservative numbers give us a number. So let's go ahead and see what the data was like in Aurora. The median price in April of 2024, which just passed, we're looking at $310,000 was the average or the median price here for homes in Aurora. 310. So what does that mean? It means basically that compared to last year, home prices have gone up 10.7%. Median price. Okay, that's the trend. Now, if I go ahead and give you a monthly raw data number, this is what it's going to spit out. You see here, the raw data numbers are more jagged edge. We speak about this often here. You see the jagged edges here? This is what's called the shark teeth, right? And this is taking in the sales data with the raw numbers. We're not factoring in and blending in and looking at trends like the rolling 12-month would, right? The rolling 12-month takes into account the previous 12 months. No, here in the monthly raw data, we're going to just look at the sales point of each one. And I'd like to look at this one as well just to see what the raw numbers look like. So as far as that one goes, when it's not averaged out with the previous 12 months, the raw data is median sales price in Aurora is $352,000. $352,000. That is up 20% compared to last year. Last year in April of 2023, let's take a look here what the numbers were. If we can go ahead, yeah, there we go. So in April, we were looking at $292,950, basically $293,000 was the price. So if you look at this number right here, it was at that level right here. And now in April, it was shot up to this number. You see that? That shooting up number is where we are. See? So prices, yes, have gone up. Now, according to this number, it went up basically 20% compared to last year, the median sales price. Now let's look at the average sale price, right? Because that's what people sometimes are asking me, hey Louis, what's the average price here? Well, already looking at the numbers here, it's looking like ever since the start of the year, which was at 302, the start of the year, it shot up. It's been on the rise very rapidly as well. The prices of homes here in Aurora have been shooting up since January significantly, right? It was 302, the average price. And now this month, the average price, we're looking at 372, 319, okay? Now, different parts of the city in Aurora have different price points, right? The west side, the east side, the far east side, the north, the south. There's just different neighborhoods, different zip codes in Aurora, and they have their particular price point. But in average, just putting them all together from the highest to the lowest, we're coming up with 372. So when you take a look at those numbers, again, we're up 21% compared to last year. See, last April of 2023, right? Let's take a look here at the numbers. We were at, to give you some context, 307,592 was the average price last year in April. Okay, so if I take my cursor here, this is where we were last year, or where this line is, and now we shot up to this high number. Now, if you want to take into context what the last 5 years were, are we at high prices? Well, yes. As far as the previous 5 years go, we're looking at the highest prices that we've seen in 5 years. So yes, if you want to take a talking point over to your calls, right? You're talking to the public. You're talking to folks, for example, myself here in the Aurora area. When I talk to people, I let them know, hey, right now we're seeing the highest average prices in 5 years. Now, I can go back to 10 years, even further than that, and see if the prices have been this high. In fact, that's what I'm going to do now, right? Why not? Take a look at the last 10 years and we just continue to see trajectory. Now watch this, mind you, this is raw data, right? And we can still see the trend of where it's going up, right? And we've never been, at least the last 10 years, we've not seen anything. Now let's go to look at max prices, max date. This one dates way back to, I want to say around 2008, right? That was the first data point. So 2008, that was 16 years ago, right? We haven't seen prices this high in Aurora since we started recording this. So it's been over 15 years we haven't seen prices this high. Yes, so the last time we did see a peak was when, let's go back again, let's kind of zoom in once again to the 3 years. The last time we saw a peak was in August of 2023. That was a year ago, okay? Oh, not a year ago, that was last year in August. But again, we saw the monthly price was at 362,854, okay? That was the highest, and then we dropped. We saw a valley at this point, and now again we're looking at 372, a highest number. A month ago, let me just see, we were at 338, so we were down here. So we did see that prices again have been spiking up. Now let's see the trend, right? Let's go ahead and look at the rolling 12 months. As you can see here, it blends in the previous 12 months, and you can still see a straight line just going up and up and up. Where, the question is, when are we going to see a drop in prices? When are we going to see a dip? Well, we're not seeing a dip anytime soon. As a matter of fact, let me just take a look here at the last 10 years and see if there's been any dip in prices. And really, we haven't seen a dip in prices. I mean, if people are expecting a price crash to just have prices, let's say, for example, here they average about 372 and then just drop to 200. I don't see that happening. I mean, we haven't seen that even in the last 10 years, any price drop. If anything, we see here some sort of plateau effect or something going on here around 2018, 19, 20. And of course, that's before the pandemic, but we did see some sort of strain. But ever since that point here in the Aurora area, in the western suburbs of Chicago, we've seen prices just go up on this. And so that's going to be as well correlated with the amount of inventory that is available for sale. Okay, that's going to be another factor. And we're going to see that. It's just like I pointed out last month with the numbers. If the prices go up, you're going to see also inventory dropping. Okay, you're going to see inventory dropping because that's just supply and demand. And because prices are this high, it's indicative of what the inventory levels are looking like. Okay, so that's what we have here as far as prices go. Prices are up 20% compared to last year. We're seeing the prices as high as they've ever been in the last 15 years of recording data. We haven't seen prices this high. We're averaging around $373,000 in Aurora, okay? That is the trajectory, okay? So that's what we got going on there, okay? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the next question, right? What's the next question, right? People ask us all the time. I mean, I talk to folks every single day. They want to know, what's the price of homes? How's the real estate market? Well, the real estate market, if you want to just, take the temperature and see what it is like, again, we ask, what are the home prices, right? What's the state? How many homes for sale, right? That's 2. Number 3 is, about homes for sale. Related to that, what's the inventory like? What's the supply of inventory? And number 4, what's the buyer demand, right? We're going to look at those 4 pillars. The first one we just saw, which was prices. Prices are up 20% compared to last year. And we've just hit a high past month, of the highest prices we've seen in the last 15 years in Aurora. So prices are at all-time all-time highs, at least for the last 15 years, according to the statistics here in InfoSpark. So now, speaking of inventory, let's take a look, because again, prices, because they're so high, we can see here that the inventory is also going to be responding, but in the opposite side, right? The inventory is low. So let's take a look at that. Homes for sale. So you can see here, they've dropped. Now let me make sure that I'm looking at the monthly data point. Here we go. As it's calculating the numbers, we're going to see the amount of homes for sale, okay? As you can see, yes, they have been dropping very low as well. In fact, very, very low numbers. Last month, we were at 104 homes for sale, and I can confirm that every single day. We're looking at the hot sheets, and we're looking to see what homes are available and whatnot. And we did see that, yes, homes for sale have been hovering around that part. And, you know, when I speak with individuals, they kind of want to see some context. And I tell them, you know, 10 years ago, we were looking at 700 homes for sale, 600 homes, 800 homes for sale. And, you know, some people wonder, like, how do you get this information? Well, it's right here, InfoSparks, right? I'm looking at it. You see here where my cursor is? The very top. This was back in 2014, right? We had 870. So 10 years ago, in the month of April, we saw, let me just go ahead and see here. Can I get it? I do have a stylus for this, but I'm not going to use it right now. We had about 700. Let's see if I could get it up there. Almost there. There it is. Finally got it. All right. 788, almost 800 homes for sale. If you want to give it some context, right, as to what was happening, 10 years ago. And as you know, here in the channel, we talk about this all the time. 6 months average or so. We're going to talk about that in the inventory supply, actually. We're not going to get to that right now. But as you can see here, homes for sale have dropped significantly compared to the last 10 years. Last 10 years, we're at 800 or so. And now we're way down here. So now let's put a number on this, okay? So I'm going to reduce this back to the 3 years. And we're going to put a number on it. Let's take a look. How many homes were for sale here in the month of April of 2024? According to this information, 91 homes for sale. Ouch, that hurts. This is supposed to be the busiest time of the year. This is supposed to be the time of year where it's very busy and folks are just out there, you know, looking for homes and everything else, right? But let's take a look at the history, right? Let's take a look. How have past Aprils looked like? Okay, so again, this is April 2024, 91 homes for sale, right? Very low numbers. In fact, again, can I say that this is the lowest number of homes available in the last, well, according to this, last 3 years? Yes. But let me ask you, is this the lowest amount of homes for sale in the last 5 years? Well, let's find out, right? Let's see. Very low numbers, but let's see. This is a low point, February of 2022. Back in the winter, in the cold of just 2 years ago, we did see a very low number, 99 homes averaging for sale. But we beat it here in April. Yes, in April, 91 homes for sale, right? The lowest point back then in the last was 99 February 2022, and we ended up getting, you know, this one. So again, if you want to record another fact that you could take out to the world, to the market, and let them see the shocking news of inventory of the home real estate market here in the city of Aurora, you're gonna say, hey, you know what? Homes for sale. Now we've hit a 5-year low. You say, well, okay, 3 years is low. The last 5 years is low, but come on, you can't say it's the 10-year low, can you? Well, let's find out, right? Let's go back 10 years. Has it been? Please say no, right? Okay. Well, this is a 10-year mark, right? It's looking like a lot of low inventory the last few years. But again, we look at the lowest points. We got February 2022. We got February 2021, 140 homes for sale. That even then, back in 2021, those were low numbers, but we still saw, and that was actually in the cold weather months, right? That's usually the valley. And now we're seeing a new valley hit in the real estate market, a new low, right? Again, let's take a look, right? The last 10 years, when do we see lows? Well, we see inventory lows. Look, February 2015, another low. February 2016, another low. Here we go. January 2017, another low. December, February, another low, right? So we're seeing the trend here. You following me? Okay. Another low in 2019 was around March, right? The cold weather months. February, there it is. All right. And we just keep following. Okay. So basically the trend has been seasonally and historically has been that the lowest points, the valleys, I call it, right? The valleys, it's not the highs, right? It's the lows, the valley has been in February. When it's the winter months. Before, we didn't really see April numbers being the valleys, the lowest. But for whatever reason, right here, something happened right here. Because again, look at the 10 years. We go up and down, up and down, up. Oh, something happened around this time, right? Let's see. It just dropped 2016, 2017, 2018, 19, and now we go to the pandemic, and now we see it's still up and down, up and down. But something happened around here. It looks like something broke. It looks like here, because normally we see the valley and it go up and then down and up and down. Well, here we went down, and then we're gonna go up, 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 and it started to sputter. It started to, kind of choke out, and now we see something just seems like it broke when it comes to inventory. All right. Now, yes, you say, well, the interest rates. Well, yes. Take a look at the interest rates right now. You see here on my screen, here on the left side of the screen, this is the updated Mortgage News Daily. Let's see where the trend has been right now. We're looking at the past week. Let me actually update it here. All right, here we go. New numbers. Very good. Okay. So May 3rd, right? We are looking at 7.28 in the interest rates. It is improved, right? From a few days ago, April 30th, 2024, it was at 7.5, right? 7.5% interest rate. And if you kind of zoom in again to this whole year, we will see that interest rates have been 7.7%, hovering all year long. Back in December, folks were thinking that interest rates were going to be at 5. Everybody was excited about that. They were like, yes, this is the year of the 5. Well, we actually have seen that this is more the year of the 7. And some others who are very knowledgeable about this, such as a Tom Toole over there on YouTube, has said that he expects interest rates to actually hover around 7% throughout the year. So that's what is going on there. So does that have to do with the reason why inventory levels are so low? Well, locally, yes. Look, this number, though it seems low, it just depends on whether you're a buyer or a seller. If you're a buyer, you see this and you're like, man, this is not good. This is tight. This is tough. And you got to have a real estate agent that is really helpful when it comes to, you putting in your offer, making sure that your real estate agent that you're working with is diligent about how they present their offers, how they communicate with listing agents. If they're exhausting, if they're using all means to get the offer accepted, following up properly and doing everything possible to get their offer accepted. Obviously it's up to the buyer, the seller, when it comes to the price, but there's a lot of other factors that if push comes to shove and we're down to the wire, the last few, moments before an offer is accepted, there are little things that can make or break a deal. I've been there, done that, and I've noticed that those who are more diligent and able to respond quickly, the seller tends to favor those kind of folks. Okay, that's the seller though. But yes, that's what we see here. Inventory has just taken a hit. Look, compared to last year, we're about 20% less inventory than last year. But if you look at the whole, 10 years, we've seen, again, these are very low levels. And if I go to the max number, which is 16 years in the past, back to 2018, you're going to see again that inventory levels have dropped so much. Okay, so that's what we got going on for inventory. So now we're looking at 4 things, right? 4 things. Number 1, we looked at prices. Prices are up 20% compared to last year. Prices have hit an all-time high. As far as this recording here in InfoSparks is concerned, we've not seen prices this high here in Aurora in the last 16 years. Ever since 2008, we haven't seen prices this high, at least as far as the records have been. Obviously, we can go back and search the county records, public records, and see what the prices have been. But according to this InfoSparks, where we find the data here, there hasn't been any prices higher. That was number 1. And number 2, we now see the houses for sale. Yes, inventory is low. It's 20% less than last year. We are at, again, almost all-time lows when it comes to inventory. Yes, it has not been this low in the last 16 years. This is the lowest amount of homes for sale in the last 16 years. Okay, 91 homes for sale. And it's I'm not saying that we cannot predict what's going to happen here, because inventory seems to be, it's not following the rules this time. It's not following the rules. Now we take a look at the rolling 12 month, we kind of smooth it out. But again, we still see the trend, it's going down. It's not skydiving, but it's down, and then it's kind of curving. Eventually we have to get to the point where, it's going to recover. But I believe that it's going to be a long time because of interest rates the way they are and because of low inventory levels. And those two are like a 1-2 punch that is causing, inventory levels and, just the inventory and the prices of homes, and causing the the homes for sale available to drop. I mean, look, they say that around 85%, 88, I believe it is. I mean, obviously under 90% of homeowners have an interest rate below what today's rates are. So it doesn't make sense to the vast majority of folks to sell their house. It just doesn't make sense to sell their house and lock in another rate that's more expensive. And so that's the overall sentiment. And obviously, with other things like the NAR lawsuit that just occurred, it just throws a lot of confusion out there. And a lot of times right now, folks are just thinking about holding on to their homes. Now, yes, of course, this is a situation where others can not survive and others can thrive, right? So we'll talk about that another time, about how to be a realtor in this field, especially if you're a part-time realtor who's under attack right now by those professionals in the field who are more full-time and everything else. But still, we could find an opportunity here to make it work, But anyway, we'll get to that, and like I said, another day. Now let's look at months inventory, right? Because this is another portion that I do want to see. That is, again, months supply. Okay, let's take a look. All right, crunching the numbers. Let's go ahead and put in the monthly raw data, the last 3 years. All right, it's all over the place, right? It's all over the place. What do we do with this? I got you. Luis, the broker here, will help you understand what's going on with all this information. Okay, so as far as month supply goes, all right, to give you some context here, let me actually zoom out, okay, just to kind of teach you real quick what the monthly looks like. They say that 6 months supply is what a leveraged market looks like, right? Where both buyer and seller have basically equal leverage, right? Anything below 6 months supply is considered a seller's market, okay? That means that the sellers have leverage. There's less homes in the market, so therefore they can, have more advantage, right? And the buyers kind of have to, negotiate almost sometimes to their own hurt, right? Because again, supply and demand. If it's a buyer's market, that is that there's more homes for sale, right? It takes 6 months to sell all that inventory or more, right? Just, hypothetically, then that's a buyer's market. And that's where sellers are really trying to kind of like find buyers out there and bring them over here. And, the wooers are the sellers in a buyer's market. But now that it's a seller's market, those who woo, those are trying to come over here, let's buy, come here, let me buy your house, please. They're the buyers. They're the ones that are in that position of, hey, I'm trying to woo you. Hey, seller, can you, allow me to buy your house, etc. Because we're below this 6 month supply. All right, now I'm going to kind of go in at maybe the max to kind of give you an idea. There we go. All right. We have to go way back in time to really see, the buyer and seller market. Okay, so here's a 6 month supply. See that right there where my cursor is? That's the line, 6 months. So there was, yes, a time when there was a buyer's market. Back here in 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, I could confirm that right there, 2011, okay, not 2014. 2014 was right here. So in the Aurora area, it was a buyer's market in 2008 to about 2012, okay? Let's take a look. Let's confirm that, right? All right. There was a shift. It was a huge shift. As a matter of fact, in 2011, in April of 2011, there was a huge shift. Between April 2011 and 2013, June 2013, there was a massive drop in homes for sale. Month supply just dropped drastically. Look at this line right here, just cliffhanger. Like, whoo, this is it. What a shift those 2 years did, right? People say, well, right now it's a market shift. The market shifted, etc. I mean, this is what a market shift looks like. You see that right there? When it's a buyer's market, and then in the span of just 2 years, even less, you see it go over the threshold, which is right here, the 6 month supply. It crossed over. Remember, this is a buyer's market right here. This is buyers. Everybody's trying to sell their house. It's really hard to sell a house. And then in 2011 and to 2013, it's just a big drop right there. And that's what made it become, a seller's market. What happened here? What was happening in 2011 and 2013 that made it drop so much and so drastically? It's a discussion for another day. But for today, yeah, we see that this is happening now. Was there a market shift? No. In our area, we've been, very, very low month supply ever since May 2020, back when the pandemic was going on. You know what was happening in 2020, right? It did drop a little bit here, of course. Inventory this drop from 2.3 months supply to 0.9, right? That's been happening ever since then. Ever since that point, though, we haven't had that market shift. And even though people are up in arms about, 7% interest rate, this and that, it's not a huge deal because we've been in this situation for some time. Yes, interest rates have gone from 3% or 2.5, 2.8 up to 6 and then 7%. Yes, that's the shift, I guess you could say. But again, that just weeded out a lot of buyers from entering the market for some time until they get their situation fixed up. But now, here we are. Where are we? Let me kind of go back and zoom in to the last months, right? So let me kind of catch you up. So in January, when we started the year, we were at 0.8 months supply. That is a severe seller's market, severe shortage of supply of homes for sale. Basically, it would take less than a month for a house to sell, hypothetically, if this is just to show you how low of inventory. We'll run out of homes to sell within a month, all right? That's where we started. In January, we were 0.8, even December. And then February came, we were at 0.9, which was like, oh yeah, we improved, great. But just slightly, right? And then we saw March and it went back down. And if you recall my previous video, when I do a market report for the month of March, I was like, okay, wow, this is crazy. Like the supply just went down. It's not supposed to happen, but we said, okay, this can't keep happening. We need to have more inventory in the market. Did it go up? It did not go up. It went even lower. You say, what? Yes. Now, is it an all-time low? No. All-time low when it comes to month supply actually happened in February 2022, right? And remember, February 22, we had less homes for sale. Actually, no, this month that just passed had less homes for sale than February 2022. So I would dispute this number here. We're at 0.6 month supply. I think we should be actually lower than February 2022, but okay, we'll just take it at that. Compare this to last year, okay? The homes for sale, we're looking at 0.6 homes for sale compared to last year, 14% less month supply than last year. Not looking good when it comes to inventory. But I mean, if you're a seller, of course, you're excited about this. You're like, yeah, this is good. When I put my house to sell, I'm going to get a good return, right? Obviously, if your house is priced right, you're going to make sure that, hey, you get a good price for your home. But most sellers are also buyers. So that's the problem, right? Because they know that they have to get into the market and buy a home as well. So why sell a house? I just spoke with a guy sometime this year, and he was basically talked into selling his house by the realtor. And he ended up selling his house very quickly. Everything was smooth there. But now he ended up being homeless. He was living in a house with several folks in that place, and he was not comfortable at all. He was like, can you help me buy a house? Fortunately, the lender couldn't get him approved for that. And unfortunately, he was without a house. And he still is, But that situation has to get cleared up. But that's just the state of affairs. You see, you get yourself into the market and you sell your house, but then you don't have it's super hard to get to buy a house now at that point. Now, it's not impossible, right? People are buying homes every single day. But, let's take a look at this. This is the final thing right here, right? And that is, we're going to look at the shows per listing. This metric here helps me to decipher, what the buyer temperature is, right? How hot demand is. All right. Because there's less homes in the market, because there's less things going on, are buyers now getting the memo? Are they going to stay back now? Are they going to flee and just not even think about housing anymore, not get in there? Well, let's find out, right? Let's see what happened in the month of April. Did it go up? Did it go down? Let's find out. I already see this here, so I can already tell. All right. So in February of 2024, get a little bit of context, we were at 19.5 shows per listing, right? And then we saw in March, it went up again, right? 20.1. So basically there were 20 homes. Let's make sure that this is the raw data. Yes, it is. So according to showing time, an application, a service that we use as realtors to confirm appointments and to request showings, etc., right? They gather data and they've seen that average 20 shows per listing for the month was the average in the month of March. Okay. Now let me see here. February 2023, last year, we saw March, and then we saw peak in April, right? There was a peak in April of almost 23 shows per listing. Let's go back another year. All right. So we have January, February had 25 shows per listing. And then it peaked in March at 25, almost 26 shows per listing. And then in April, it kind of went down, but we still had 24 shows per listing. Let's go back another year, right? And we saw, again, February 18 shows per listing. The next month, it spiked up to 23 shows per listing, and then it peaked in April. So according to the last 3 years of recent history, we've seen peaks of shows per listing, right? Of peaks of buyer demand, of people going to see homes, peaking in March or April, right? That's where we have seen it. Well, it looks like this year we're going to see a peak in March. Have we peaked in shows per listing? Have we peaked in buyer demand for the year? Well, according to this, I mean, it looks like we have peaked already. And what can we expect now? Well, we can expect shows per listing to drop, right? Moving forward, right? So April was the busiest day, month of the year when it comes to buyers seeing homes. So we're going to see, yes, a decrease. But it doesn't mean it's going to drop significantly all the way to zero. No, all year long, even the lowest points, we still have about 8 to 9 shows per listing. So how is buyer demand is the question. Well, look, it's seasonality. It's still hot, right? So according to showing time, shows per listing are 18.1 shows per listing. That's still a strong number. That means that there's 18 groups going to each individual property average and looking for those. And of those 18, I wish we could see how many contracts we had. Let me see. It says shows contract to close. That's another metric, and then shows to contract. I'm not going to even look at that right now because I feel that maybe getting the shows per listing is a better metric to see again how much hot demand is out there. Shows per contract. That one basically just shows how hot, how motivated for buyers are to get that particular listing. But it depends on how well the house shows, how it's priced, etc. But it doesn't really show like the people getting out there to see homes, just in general, right? So again, have we peaked? It looks like we have peaked as far as inventory goes. As far as shows per listing go here in Aurora. So that wraps up here the basic statistics when it comes to the city of Aurora. What we talked about here, we talked about prices. They're up 20% compared to last year. We're looking at almost all-time highs when it comes to prices here in Aurora. We looked at homes for sale. Oh man, at least 10, 15 year lows when it comes to homes for sale. Low numbers. We looked at inventory levels. Again, we're looking at low numbers, not the all-time low, but extremely low. Okay, that's very low numbers. And now we looked at buyer demand. Buyer demand is still high. It's not all-time high because you can see here, we've dropped since 2022, 2023, 2024. Who knows, maybe next year it'll be less buyer demand, okay? But that's just the way it is. And some of the peculiarities that we saw in the statistics for today, for this time is, the month supply, which was it this one or was it the homes for sale? Let me just take a look here. Yeah, it was just one of those two metrics. Again, that it was just a weird time that we peaked already. It was right here that it's broken. Like, what's going on here, right? But that's what the state of affairs is in the real estate market here in Aurora. All right, so if you found any value in this, my purpose in making this video was to inform you of what's happening in Aurora, to show you, what's going on. Is the market hot? Is it not? Is buyer demand going up? Is it going down? Are prices still going up? So if you want me to do an assessment just like this, looking at analytics and painting a picture for you of what's happening here in your neck of the woods, right, in your town, in your city, here in the Chicagoland area, then reach out to me. I'd love to make a video like this, publish it for all of us to view. And yeah, definitely reach out to me if you have any questions like this. Again, this is Luis Torres, the real estate agent here in Chicagoland area. And if you have questions, of course, you know where to reach me. Take care and have a great day.